Hi, welcome back to Wallflowers. So, as the video caption says, salvaging food from food wastage. A couple of days ago, Friday, I was in one of the food initiatives and one of the ladies said, there's tons and tons of spring onions and they're literally going to be thrown away. If any of you ladies can use them, you're more than welcome to take as many as you possibly can. So with that, Carol filled 2 carrier bags just like this. And at the time I thought, oh, we've got one each, great. And when we got outside, she said to me, I haven't got any room in the freezer. She said, can you use both of them? So I said, yeah, no problem, I'll work through them. So here we are. I'll just empty them out so you can see them. So the reason they couldn't sell is because a lot of the leaves are quite sweaty. People will turn their noses up at them. Now other people had been offered the same kind of thing for free and had refused to take them. And as you know, I like to salvage food, and I've done this several times with lots of different items. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I actually took some wasted pears, what would have been wasted pears, brought them home and made a vast amount of pear jam from them. And again, other people had turned their nose up at them and just couldn't even consider using them. And as you can see already, this is only half a bag, and there's absolutely an abundance here of spring onions. And once I sieve through and take some of the slimy leaves off the outside, you shall see how much food there is actually here within the onions themselves. I was quite glad of this to happen when it did. Today here, what date are we on today?
16, is it?
Today
17.
Today we're on the 17th of November, Monday the 17th.
No, 18.
18th of November. And in the UK, well, especially in England, we've had the first farmers' strike. Now, if any of you are aware, we've got farmers' strikes all over the world at the moment. We've had them ongoing for France for a couple of years now. We have supermarkets rejecting food sources from Spain, etc., because of the floods. They're saying, using it as an excuse, shall we say, for them not to import the tomatoes, the vegetables, etc. from Spain. And we're having that from different countries throughout. The farmers have been quite abused for many, many years now. And the price they were getting for milk was actually sometimes less than what it cost them to produce it. And they had no choice because of the amount of cattle that they had and the milking cows that they had. They had no choice but to keep producing it and get some money back, even though it was at a loss. And that went on and on and on. Farmers have been forced to use GMOs and to produce GMO products for many, many years now. And farmers have had quite a hellish time. They've lost a lot of money. And for the hours and the lifestyle that they live, it's abusive. And as I say, people are rearing up all over the world now and have been for quite a while, and the UK are actually doing it now. I believe by some information that I've gathered that we've had a 2-year delay in the farmers actually acting upon this because of Brexit. Although I have different opinions on whether Brexit actually went through or not. But there you go. But there's been a 2-year delay on the UK reaction towards that. And today it started. There are many marches planned to take place over the following few weeks and months, and shortages will shortly appear in the shops. Now, farmers don't just produce vegetables, obviously, they produce meat, they produce dairy, you know, and it covers a lot. Wheat for your bread, it covers an awful lot what the farmers produce, and it will affect the supermarkets. So some farmers will now stop, maybe just for a week at a time, giving produce to the supermarkets, which will then reflect on what's on the shelves, because if they're refusing to import from a lot of the countries that they were importing from, you'll find the gaps will appear more and more, and we're already somewhat seeing some gaps. Although you will see some produce, there's not as much as what we're used to seeing. We're used to seeing tons and tons of produce, and we will surely be seeing a lot of empty shelves in regard to that, and it will only get more severe as the farmers' strikes escalate. Okay, so with that said, support your local community shops, support your local farmers, buy direct if you can, buy direct from your local community stores, support the farmers' strike. I think it's the only ethical thing to do. There is laboratory raised meat, there is insect products coming out in the market, there is factory grown vegetables under ultraviolet lights, etc. You know, these aren't what we call natural products, and if we don't save our farmers now, there won't be any farmers and there won't be any natural produce. I'd like to think that the GMO products will generally disappear if we fight for the farmers now. And for me to get an abundance like this now when it's needed, I'm so grateful, and I'm so happy to do the work that it takes and to get it for free. So I'll begin. So I'm actually going to pop all of these into a big bowl to keep them all compact. I'm going to lay my chopper out so I don't scratch the irons. So I've got one bowl, I'll explain what that's for now. And the Ziplocs at the ready. Nice trusty sharp knife, and I'll also have a little jar for my elastic bands. So this is how I do it. I'll take the elastic bands from both ends, pop the elastic bands into the jar. I'll pop my glasses on. I'll take the whole bunch of onions and I'll chop the root end off. Also take another jar. For this I don't mind using tap water, but as you know I wouldn't drink it. We filter all of our water in the Berkey. So I've got a jar of water to keep popping my root ends in, and those root ends also need my waste bucket. I keep my waste bucket in the drawer, so as we're making a cup of tea for Mr. Wallflowers, the tea bag is just in the drawer to use. It's so much easier. So here's my compost bin. Pull off the slimier leaves straight into the compost. I'll snap off the dry ends with my fingers. Snap off the dry ends with my fingers. Now I separate what we call the green end from the white end, and I'll just do that with my fingers again, and I'll make 2 piles, and I'll carry on working through the bunch. So off with the what we call the slimy leaves. Break off the dry ends. Separate the greens from the whites. And I'll just work through this bunch and show you what I do. I don't know if you could hear that movement in the background. That's Oscar just going along the landing to the bathroom. You can hear every noise in this house. I like it when you get a nice thick one. It's easier to peel. So there's a method in my madness why I'm separating the whites from the greens. So if I keep the greens separate, you'll see, if we can actually get a close-up on that, you'll actually see the greens are quite hollow and it's just one round of onion, where with the white it's several rounds of onion. So when I chop them up and put them in a Ziploc to go in the freezer, there's a good quantity of onions that can be used for several meals. So they can be used for soups, stews, casseroles, omelettes, everything and anything I would use an onion in. And the hollows, I've actually got a recipe earmarked. I'm actually going to make some sausage burgers, sausage patties, and I've just got the sausage meat defrosted on the side, if Mr. Wallflowers can show you. That's ready to use these greens to mix with those, and that'll be quite sufficient, just the single rounds, because there's quite a bulk of them when I've finished. So take the bad leaves off again. You coming in to say hello, Oscar?
Hello guys.
Waiting to get to the kettle.
Didn't realise you were making a video. What are you making?
I'm just working through these onions I got from the Food Initiative on Friday.
Having sausage burgers.
Sausage burgers for tea. And some for the freezer if I get enough.
Is that the pork meat that was in the freezer?
Those sausage rounds.
Were they in like something that said pork meat?
Yeah. So here we have the greens from one bunch of the what would have been waste spring onions. I'll just slice them as we normally would. And so they're separate for cooking patties with, and now these will be the actual freezer supply. The one that got away? So I really enjoyed doing the pears when I made the pear jam, although it was a really messy job. The pear jam itself that I got from what would have been wasted pears was beautiful, and I will make it again. I'm still working my way through it now. I can't remember how many jars I made, but I must have made at least about 50. Because there were so many pears we were given, I just kept making it and wouldn't let any of it go to waste. And once you get the rhythm of doing it, you can actually fly through it so quickly. With the radio on and singing along, or a bit of my own music, singing along, time just flies by. And as I say, what better way to stock up your freezer with good vegetables when we might need them in a month or two. Be glad to have these to fall back on if needed. We're glad to have them anyway, we'd use them anyway, won't we? Just means my pennies can go towards something else next time I go shopping. A lot of supermarkets, local shops, anywhere that sells vegetables will be glad to give you, spring onions like this, or any produce that look like it's on the way out, because they have to pay to have it removed. They have to pay the bin man. They have to pay for the garbage and the waste to be removed. And there's only so many pigs you can feed. So, again, chop up my greens. I've already done one whole bag. So this is the second one I'm doing. So when I've finished this bunch, I'll actually show you how much I actually got from the first bag. I'll just finish this off while I'm doing it. I'm looking forward to making those sausage burgers though.
Getting hungry now.
I know, I am. Now that's only 2 bunches you watch me do. I just have a small amount of greens. Well, I'd throw all of them in an omelette, you wouldn't need much more. A big frying pan full of omelette with them in. It'd be absolutely delicious and enhance any meal. Just looks like a small amount there, but to add that to a casserole or a stew, 2 bunches of spring onions, that's as much onion as you really need. And what do we have here? A load of the roots that can be planted out in the garden, and as I've told you time and time again, you plant them out and it's cut and come again for years to come. So you literally leave the root in situ, take off the spring roll, take off the spring onion and cut and come again time and time again. So let me just tidy this space up and I'll show you exactly what I got in total from the last full bag. So this is all what would have been waste food, given absolutely free, well spotted, and bit of time, foresight and planning. We can take this waste food and create real good food. So we've gone from this to this. So I have 2 large bags of trimmed delicious spring onions, a third or a quarter of a bag. I also have over half a stock pot of the green. As I say, that's going to be turned into sausage burgers. I have a load of elastic bands that I'm sure I'll find a use for in the future. I always keep elastic bands and never throw them away. You don't know when they'll come in handy. And a whole load of spring onion roots, which I'll share with some friends and some neighbours, and hopefully get them growing some spring onions. So, you know, that bag of what would have been waste has turned into, I'd say, over 100 meals, future prospect of thousands of meals with the roots being cut and come again. So yeah, exceptionally pleased to have taken them, happy to have done the work, and will thoroughly enjoy eating them. Let me know if you've done something similar. Let me know if you appreciate these kind of videos. Thank you for coming. Please take care. Remember you're loved, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.